Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, the only Idaho podcast focused on providing profits for Idaho people. If you love our state and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Idaho Business Podcast with your friend, host, and all-around great guy and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode. You're probably listening to this possibly on your spring break. If you're on a cruise ship or on a beach, I commend you for taking some time off, balancing what you need to balance. Your loved ones need you, obviously. It's good to get some time away. So good for you if you are. If you're at work or in your car working, hey, whatever. You know, I get it both ways. I'm working this week too. Not a big deal. Okay. As always, we're sponsored by Health West. Great organization, great people. You know, I've met anywhere from the CEO down to nurses and even the janitorial staff. You know, great people all the way around. Give them a holler. Google them where they're closest to you. They're all throughout Idaho for the most part. There's going to be some spots they're not. See where they're closest to you. See what they can do for you and your family. All right. We're also sponsored by my companies, New Clean Commercial Cleaning and Commercial Cleaning Services, servicing all the way from Burley, Idaho to Rexburg. So if you need any help with your toilet scrubbing needs, sterilization, carpet cleaning, all the fun stuff, stripping and waxing, we got you covered. Okay. You tell us that you heard about us on the podcast. We have a free office sterilization coming your way. No strings attached. Easy peasy. Okay. You know, last week we had some issues in my businesses. In my industry, we always joke that nothing happens in ones and twos. It always happens in threes and fours. It might feel that way in your industry as well. But let's talk about that today. How to deal with mistakes, shortcomings, anything that comes up in your business while you're at work doing business. If we all lived in a perfect world, none of our employees would make mistakes. We would never make mistakes because we would be perfect. Our tools would act perfectly every time. There would be no issues there. And our clients would be 100% satisfied. Now, if we go back to the real world, that's not the case, right? Yes, we try to do our best. Yes, we try to satisfy our customers. Yes, we try to do the best by our employees. And we try to train our employees the best to give the best that we can to our clients. But what do we do when things happen? So this week, we had some issues happen. Some small things, some rather medium-sized things, not some catastrophic things. We've had some big things, though, in the past. But the first thing you want to put in place is a fire prevention system. Now, I'm not talking about, those companies that, give you the fire extinguishers and the overhead water suppression lines. I'm not talking about that, even though that's important. If you don't have those things, get a hold of those companies and they will help you. I'm talking about within your organization, within your structure. How do you prevent fires from happening? Because you might have staff and managers who are great firefighters, but aren't good at preventing fires. Okay, you got to put on the bear costume for the prevent forest fires, and go around your company and put on that hat and think, okay, how do I prevent things from happening? Yes, it goes back to systems. We talk about systems all the time. If something comes up on a weekly basis that's, annoying to you, or it's a minor issue that comes up every week, you can put something into place. Okay, how do I deal with this? Is it me that always has to make this certain phone call or this certain email, or do I have to fill in this certain gap? If so, how do I do that? What do I do to do that, to fill in that gap, to take care of that problem, and then explain it to someone else to do? That's not the decision maker. That's not the person directly in charge of everything. Okay. That's preventing smaller fires. Okay. Larger fires could be, hey, maybe your company uses a certain type of chemical, or maybe you use a certain type of tool that if your employees are not trained properly on it, it can really do some damage to the home, the business, or whatever it's being used on. It can really do some damage if they're not trained correctly on it. And that's something that happened last week with our company. There was a chemical that wasn't used, but it was spilled on accident, and it damaged something. But and if we would have been on our toes, this is what I would have liked to see happen. It was we bought a company in Idaho Falls. We should have gone through all of their different locations that we service and did a quick audit of what was in each one of their closets of the tools that we use, chemicals we use. And if we would have saw this certain chemical in there, I would have yanked it or had one of my managers yank it. So that is something we're improving on because of this issue. If we ever buy another company, which we will be doing these type of audits. So this is something you can be thinking of too in your business. So doing an audit would be nice. Okay. If you're bringing on new employees and eventually they're going to have to come in contact with this chemical or this tool, you need to train them probably multiple times on it, because people, things are caught, not taught. You can teach them, but if you have them being taught by other people and being shown by other people, that helps so much. Okay. So take that information, put that into place. So when they actually get to that tool or using that chemical or whatever it is, they are aware of those cautions. I mean, they're aware of what it can do, and they have been taught and they have been shown how to do things properly and how to take the proper precautions to not have issues as they put that to use. Okay, let's go forward. Let's say something, we're dealing with a problem now. You messed up someone, clients, whatever it is. You messed up a window. You messed up a whatever. You messed up. You set up an account. If you're in a white collar, industry, you messed something up. Let's just get down to that. Okay. Now, it's better to get ahead of the problem than to be backstepping after the client finds out on their side without you telling them. Because once they find out that you made a mistake and you weren't the one getting in front of the problem and letting them know, this is the mistake that happened, this is what we're doing to take care of you and make you not just right, but make you whole again. Now they're on the offense. Okay. And they're coming after you, and you're playing defense at that point. And that's never a fun place to be. As you want to have good relationships with your company and with your customers, you want it to feel more like a partnership. The way you make it feel more like a partnership is you have that honest communication, even when that honest communication hurts, and you look foolish, and your business looks foolish, because sometimes things happen. And show me a company that doesn't have things happen, and I'll show you 0% of the companies out there. Okay, I don't care if it's a bank. I don't care if it's, whatever company out there. I know you all make mistakes, okay? And we all need to give each other a little bit of grace. But going back to not hiding anything, being transparent, this is part of our core values. So our first core value is being honest, okay? So for us, it's super easy, okay? When we make a decision as a team, or our managers are trying to make a decision on the fly, how do we handle this? Okay, well, first things first is we got to be honest about it, because that's what's going to keep a client longer, even if it's really going to stink, telling them the truth. Okay, and it's really going to put mud on their face. You got to do it. Okay. So be honest, be transparent, take responsibility, and then show them, guide them through what are the next steps that are going to be happening, what they can expect to see next from you from having this issue happen. How are you going to make things not just right, but make them whole? Okay. Okay. Here's an example of making things whole instead of making things right. In my industry, the ultimate sin in my eyes is things a client not getting or not getting scheduled or being left off our schedule and not being serviced on a certain night. That is the ultimate sin, I feel like, in my business industry. Now, that next day, that client wakes up, they go to work, and they see that their facility was not serviced. That looks bad on us. Hopefully we can find out early enough that that happened that we can get ahead of the problem. Sometimes it doesn't, and this has only happened less than a handful of times in 13 years because of software glitches or just human error as they're entering things into the system. Now, part of our systems is we have a guarantee in place. It's called a "we're not perfect" guarantee. And when something happens or something unsatisfactory or something like this happens, they are completely covered by this guarantee. Now, how are they covered by the guarantee when we forget to service? Let me tell you. Okay, what did I say about making things right, whole, making them whole rather than just being right, making them right again? Okay, making things right. Okay, making things right would be, okay, you know what? Don't pay for that service that we didn't come. Okay, that seems right, I guess, right? They're not paying for something they didn't get. Sure, it seems right. But on my side, that's a major inconvenience for my client. Maybe they had an important client of themselves coming in that day and they really wanted things cleaned well. And maybe that didn't happen. You don't understand what is the extent of the damages. So you have to figure out how you can make things fully whole for them. Okay. Now you can be super creative, you can do all sorts of things. But for us, if we miss one service, what we do is we credit back 2 services because we want them to see, hey, we're holding our feet to the fire, and we don't want you to realize that, hey, this is something that happens to us on a regular basis, and we're going to hurt worse than you're going to hurt financially. And that's just part of making things whole. Okay, so that's part of step kind of 1, making them whole. Take responsibility. Don't panic and don't hide. Okay, and then after you make things whole, if you have to replace something or if you do things right, follow up with them. Sometimes we forget as business owners or business leaders. Sometimes we're hesitant, like, oh, I don't really want to see this client again. Oh, we just have so much mud on our face. But if you fixed things the right way and made them whole, you're looking at it all wrong. You're looking at it as, oh, I've still got mud on my face with this client. When you could be looking at it as you took an opportunity to knock the socks off your customer or client by doing it right. So this error, and from you having omission to this error, this could now turn into an opportunity for you to even get a review from them, a nice Google review. Like, hey, and these reviews, guys, these are gold. These are honest reviews. So many people out there are like, no, all my reviews have to be, this company's perfect. This company makes no mistakes. This company is ... Everyone thinks those are bot reviews and they can't trust them. I would much rather see a company when I'm looking at reviews that has a customer that says, you know what, they've been a great company. They messed up here, but this is how they fixed it. This is how they made us whole, and we're so impressed by them. That kind of review goes miles, and I would much rather have that type of review than, hey, everything's honky dory, nothing ever happens bad with this company. No way. So just remember that you can turn these inconveniences and these times of error and misfortune on your side and on their side into an opportunity to knock their socks off and to get a review out of it. So don't look at an opportunity like, oh, we made a mistake. We really have mud on our face. This is bad. We got to hide it after we make this right. No, don't look at it that way. Go forward. And if they're not all the way impressed with you, maybe you haven't made it all the way whole yet. And if you've done everything to make it whole with them, make them whole, and they're still acting like they're put out, maybe you do have a kind of a Karen client, and maybe this client's not, worth servicing or helping. Sometimes that's the case, and sometimes you might have to say goodbye to a client, and that's okay. Not all money is good money. It's better to lose a winner than to keep a loser. And that's one quote I love. One of my old mentors, my champion, said that to me. That is a great quote. But I hope you guys can learn some of this stuff. I'm giving you some life lessons and some experiences that we're having in our businesses, because I want you to understand, I'm not Mr. Perfect. We make mistakes. Our company makes mistakes. So does yours. So does any other company out there. And it's okay. We're human beings. People make mistakes. But let that be your guiding light as you go forward. When other companies that service you make mistakes, have some grace. Give them some chance to make you whole. Okay? Judge companies on how they make things right, not by the mistakes they have. Now, if they're constantly making the same mistake over and over and over again, then that's a different conversation. And that's a different conversation for your company too, because then you have to really identify what's causing that. Is it a certain employee that keeps doing something that's not listening, or is it a system that's failing? So those are the things that you can look out for. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. It's supposed to be warm this week. I hope all throughout Idaho, whoever is listening to this, it's warm where you're at, and you're getting some vitamin D on you. But be happy, be grateful, find opportunities to serve others. Adios. Enjoy yourselves.
Congratulations on spending a couple of minutes getting a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Idaho business community. If you're feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.